So good morning and welcome back to the class. We are going to begin our new chapter, that is the second chapter in algebra today, which is pair of linear equations in two variables. All right. So to start with, I think I will just share the concept map that I have with me here, which will give you a complete overview of the chapter. All right. So we will take it up quickly and see what is there in store for us. Parallelly, also I shall be touching on the split up syllabus also, because there are certain things which are not included in the syllabus for us this year in the boards. Okay. So let me see if that also can be taken parallel. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So now this is the concept map for the chapter on pair of linear equations in two variables. Now linear equation in two variables is something that you have already done in class 9. The only extension is that you're going to deal with a pair of linear equations. What we dealt with last year was only linear equation in two variables in single form. You don't have a pair of linear equations dealt together at a time. Now, why this pair of linear equations in two variables is very important is what we are going to see in this chapter. So I think I'll enlarge the map a little. Yeah, this is the central node. So the first thing that we shall be going through is the introduction. Why should we have to study a pair of linear equation in two variables? What is the significance of knowing a pair of linear equation in two variables and how it will help me solve daily life situations which can be converted into a pair of linear equations in two variables. This is what we will see in the introduction part. Now, what is a pair of linear equation in two variables? We shall be explaining and seeing its general form also. So these are the general forms in which a pair of linear equation in two variables will be represented. So we will take it up one by one as we are dealing with it. Then how the graph of a linear equation looks like, we already know. It will be a straight line graph, either intersecting the x-axis or intersecting the y-axis, or sometimes it may intersect both the x and the y-axis. So this is how the graph of a linear equation will look like. Now, because we are going to deal with a pair of linear equation in two variables, there will be something called a solution which will be available for this pair of linear equations. And that solution is nothing but the intersection point of the two straight lines. So we will see the conditions in which the graphical solution of a pair of linear equations will be intersecting. Sometimes it can be parallel and sometimes it can be coincident. So there are conditions which you can describe and tell when a pair will become intersecting, when it would become coincident, or when it would become parallel. Because anyway, when you plot a pair of linear equations in two variables, you will be getting two straight lines. And these two straight lines have different conditions at which they may become intersecting, they may become parallel, or they may be coincident. So what are these conditions is very important. We'll be dealing with those also. All right. Then coming back to the other side, once we know how to graphically represent a pair of linear equations, the next step we have is the algebraic solution. How do you find the solution without drawing the graphs of this equation? The first method anyway is the graphical method. The second one is the algebraic method. And in these algebraic methods, we have three major methods which will be discussed. These are the ones: the substitution method, the elimination method, and the cross multiplication methods. These are three independent ways in which you can solve the equations, that is the linear equations in two variables. You will get the values of x and y with any of these methods. So it is expected that you should know all these methods. Now, amongst these three methods, one of the method is deleted for you this year. The cross multiplication method is something which is not going to be assessed for you in the boards. So we will only concentrate on the substitution and the elimination method. All right. Then moving on, after the algebraic solutions, we have this word problems or the situational problems. This was the condition I was telling you. This is called the conditions of consistency of linear equations in two variables. These conditions are very significant because again, problems based on these conditions will be asked. What are the conditions? We will take it up in detail while we are doing the class. Okay. Then, of course, the graphical I have just now told you that there are three different graphical solutions available: intersecting lines, coincident lines, or parallel lines. Coincident means the lines are lying one over another. That's why you're seeing only one straight line. Though the equations are two, only one straight line is drawn. That means both the equations are represented by the same straight line. So such a condition is happening when the lines are coincident. They are one over another. Okay, so this we will discuss in the beginning. That is, the graphical solution is the ones we will take up in the beginning. So all this is there for us in store. All right. So I think I have discussed the concept map completely. I think I can show you the entire map again. This is how it looks like. This is again not a map that I have created. It is created by my student last year. See how extensively they could create the concept map, connecting the knowledge with what they had in class 9 to what is the new thing that you're going to learn in class 10. So I am expecting you also to create concept maps like this, because it gives a lot of understanding about the concepts and how they are linked, so that we have a complete understanding of all the concepts which are covered in the chapter. All right. So I think I will stop the share here and come back to my original screen. Yeah, I hope the concept map was very clear. It is extensively dealt with. There are a few things which are deleted. So before I go to presenting the syllabus once again, because I want to focus what is there and what is deleted in the syllabus, I'm going to share that page once again now. I hope you're seeing my screen.
Yeah, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. I am on that page where the pair of linear equation in two variables is projected. Are you seeing it?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll quickly read through this so that you will understand amongst the concepts which I have shown in the concept map, what is it that you have to prepare yourself for the boards. Okay. So in the pair of linear equation in two variables, what we have is pair of linear equation in two variables and graphical method of their solution. So we have to understand what is the meaning of a pair of linear equation in two variables, why is it required, and how the graphical method of solution gives us the conditions of consistency. I told you, there are three varieties in which the equations would behave. They may be intersecting lines, they may be coincident lines, or they may be parallel lines. So that is what you call the conditions of consistency. How will the pair of linear equation behave will be decided by these conditions. What are these conditions? We shall see in detail in the class. So conditions of consistency and inconsistency is very, very important, because problems based on this is definitely included for us. All right. Next. So once the graphical method is clear and we know the conditions of consistency, the second concept that we should know is the algebraic conditions for a number of solutions. How many solutions will a given pair of linear equations have? Will be decided again based on the coefficients of the variables in both the given equations. So those algebraic conditions also we must know. So there are going to be questions based on this also. Then moving on, solution of a pair of linear equation in two variables algebraically by the substitution and the elimination method. That means only these two methods we require to learn and be able to perform. We don't have to look at the cross multiplication method. All right. Then lastly, some situational problems where you are able to create or frame linear equation in two variables and also solve them to get the solution for a given situational problem. So this is all is stored in the chapter for us. There are so many other things that are there in the concept map which is not included for us in the boards. All right. So I hope it is clear. What we have to learn and keep in our mind with respect to the board is clear. Any doubt?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Okay. So I think we will directly go to the video now because anyway the video is available with me. I'm going to play it. If there is any problem regarding the audio, you can stop me and tell me. I have to mute from here, so I'll be muting off now. In case there is an issue with the audio, you can let me know. There shouldn't be, but in case if it is there, you can let me know. All right. So shall we move on?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So good morning and welcome back to the class. So today we're going to start our chapter on linear equations in two variables. Now this is something not very new to you because last year only we have done linear equation in two variables, but we didn't take a pair of linear equations last year. We just dealt with a linear equation in two variables. So we will just take up how these equations look like and what are their applications and why should it be at all studied. So these things we will discuss quickly. So I think I'll go back to the board behind me because I have to write a few things and show it to you. All right? Yeah. So we have the chapter today as the pair of linear equations in two variables. So we will first try to understand how a linear equation in two variables will look like. So we will first write the general form of a linear equation in two variables. So I can write it as ax plus by plus c equals 0. So the two variables that I have here are x and y. And I have a, b and c as the coefficients of the term with x, the term with y and the constant term. Here the condition would be both a and b should not be equal to 0. What will happen if any one of them becomes equal to 0? Either the x term will vanish or the y term will vanish, which should not happen for us. Because we are talking about linear equations in two variables, both the terms containing x and y should definitely be there. If they have to be there, the coefficients of the x and y term should never be equal to 0. So this is the condition in which a linear equation will come into existence. Now, why should I study these linear equations at all? And more so, I'm not going to stop with one linear equation. I'm talking about pair of linear equations in two variables. Now, why should I study this? Why should I study a pair of linear equations when I know a lot of geometry apart from that, or a lot of algebra apart from that? Now, when I talk about linear equation in, give me 2 minutes, there are people getting admitted. Okay. So when I talk about another pair of equation, maybe I should see it as px plus qy plus r equal to 0. Now this set of two equations together is called a pair of linear equations in two variables. You should see that there are two different equations, but the variables are the same. So such a set is what we call as pair of linear equations. Why they can be paired? Because their variables are the same. Maybe the coefficients are different. So that is why we are taking it as a pair of linear equations. Now, as I was asking, why should we study this pair of linear equations and where is its application? It has got a huge application in solutions of various situations that we come across in our day-to-day life. Any situation that you want to solve using a little mathematics, those places you will be able to convert the given situation into linear equations with two variables, and once you know how to solve them, then you can provide a solution for that situation. So this is why we have to learn what is the solution for a pair of linear equation in two variables. Now, before we go to the solutions of linear equations in two variables, we will first try to understand what do you mean by the solution for a given equation. Now, going back to what we have already done in class 9, if I take one linear equation in two variables and try to graph it, what kind of graph was I getting? Try to recall. We have graphed
straight line
linear
graph.
equations
Straight
in
line
two
graph.
variables.
Mama,
What?
Straight line graph.
Yes, we were getting straight lines or straight line graphs for a linear equation in two variables. Now, when I say the solution of a linear equation in two variables, I'm talking about all the points which will lie on that straight line. So, how do I plot a linear equation in two variables on the graph? I give values for x and find out the values for y. That's how I did it. So, we will do the same thing here. Instead of having one equation, we will have two equations, and hence we will get how many lines in the graph?
Two lines.
Yes, you will get two straight lines in the graph. And when I talk about the solutions of both the equations, what should you understand geometrically or graphically? There will be, yes, somebody is speaking, yes.
From the point where both the line meet.
If at all the lines are intersecting, it is not always necessary that the two pairs of linear equations that you are dealing with will intersect. Sometimes the straight lines will intersect. Sometimes they may not intersect also. So how can you imagine two lines not intersecting? What kind of lines will they be?
Mom, parallel.
Yes, they will be parallel lines. So there are three conditions which can arise. When you graph two equations in two variables, there are three ways in which you can look at the solution. First thing, there will be an intersect between the two straight lines. All right. So that intersect point will become the solution for both the equations. Second case, you may have parallel lines occurring. When you plot the graph, it is not always necessary that you will get intersecting lines. In some cases, we may have parallel lines also. In that case, how do you think you will be able to find the solution?
Mom, no solutions.
Then you have to simply say that there is no solution for that set of equations because they are not at all intersecting. So that is the second case. So if there are parallel lines as the graphs of these equations, then there is no solution at all existing. What about the third condition? Can you guess what should be the third condition? Intersecting or parallel? It is over there. What else can it be? They will be overlapping lines. That means they will be coincident lines. What do you mean by coincident lines? From the word itself, it is very clear. Overlapping or coincident means
One over the other.
line over one another. All right. So one line will be exactly the copy of the other. So one line will be lying on itself on the other, and hence the two lines will appear as though they are a single line. In such a case, what can you call the solution of this set of equations? What kind of solution will you get?
Infinity.
Because all the points on the straight lines are the solutions for both the equations. Such a graph, when you have coincident lines, they will have infinite solutions. So if it is intersecting lines, there is a unique solution or only one solution. If there are parallel lines, there are no solutions at all. And if they are coincident or overlapping lines, then they will have infinite solutions. All right. So these are conditions which we will take up later. So the first thing we have to understand and try putting it in the form is, given a situation, you should know how to frame the linear equation first. That means you will be building a linear equation with two variables based on the situation given to you. That's the first step. Second, you should know how to graph the linear equation in two variables. So once these two are mastered, you know how to frame a linear equation and you know how to graph it also, then we can move on to the solutions. Why I talked about the solutions is because these two are done eventually to reach the solution of both the equations together. So today's class, we are just going to concentrate on the condition given to us. First, try to frame the equation. When I say framing an equation, it means you have to give the algebraic form of the given situation. So this is exactly what we will take up from exercise 3.1. So we will go to our exercise directly. This is in page number 44. Please take your textbooks in page number 44. We will be looking at exercise 3.1. Now, why I paused here was you must have your textbook with you. Textbook ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ textbook ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ situation ನಿಮಗೆ understand ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Because I'm going to read that problem and you must know how you will be able to convert that situation as a linear equation into variables. In fact, you will get a pair of linear equation in two variables. So situation ಅನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಓದಬೇಕು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ situation ಅನ್ನ. ಆ problem ನೀವೇ ಓದಬೇಕು. Though I am reading it in the video, please go through it parallelly as I am reading it. I have told you it is there in page number 44 of the NCERT textbook. Please keep your textbook open with you. This is in page number 44. Those who still don't have the textbook, I really don't know how I'm going to help you further. Please see that you take the PDF format and take the printout. Otherwise, borrow an old textbook, but please procure a textbook in any form. We can't be always sharing things to you. You are already into the 10th standard and we are almost 3 months through now. So become a little more responsible to get a textbook. Okay, so I am in problem number 1. So what we will do now is we will represent all these situations algebraically first. What do I mean by algebraic representation? It means I am asked to frame the equations. So I am in problem number 1. Aftab tells his daughter, 7 years ago, I was 7 times as old as you were then. Also, 3 years from now, I shall be 3 times as old as you will be. Alright, so because I'm going to frame equations in two variables, I have two things I can assume because there are two variables. So here, how will I assume? It is very simple because there are two persons, the father and the daughter. So we can assume their present ages as X and Y. So that's the first step we have to do. Let the age Now I have paused the video because I wanted to say something here. So what is that start for the problem? What you require to assume? Because you have to bring in two variables, any variables X and Y. So X and Y ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ತುಂಬಾ easy. Because at the end of the situation, a question will be asked. What is the age of the father? What is the age of the daughter? If that is the question which is asked, then it is very simple. ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾರೋ ಅದನ್ನೇ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇದನ್ನ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Now in this situation, finally the question is, what is the present age of the father and the daughter? So ನಾನು ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ? ನನಗೆ ಅದೇ ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ, ಫಾದರ್ದು ಏಜು ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಾಟರ್ದು ಏಜ್ ಬೇಕು. So I will assume that itself as my variable. So I start with let the present age of the father be X years and the present age of the daughter be Y years. Now I have two variables which have come. Now given the situation, ಈ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಆಗಿ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ತಿರೋದು. This we have already seen in the syllabus. It is clearly said that we have to frame the equation and then solve it also. So that is why this I am discussing in detail. Framing equation ಸುಲಭ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು. And when your beginning is correct, that is when you are able to assume things properly and move, then your problem will go on smoothly. All right, so I'll resume now. of father be X years and that of the daughter I will take it as Y years because I have two variables which I can deal with. Now there is some comparison in the ages 7 years ago and 3 years from now. So you must clearly understand. 7 years ago means it is 7 years before what is the present age now. And 3 years from now, Andre, it is the forward, that is the future. 3 years later. So this I think I have taught you last year also. When I talk about 7 years ago, it says 7 years ago, father was 7 times as old as the daughter. So 7 years ago is the situation. So if father is X years now, what is his age 7 years before? What was his age 7 years before?
X minus 7. X minus 7.
X minus 7. Similarly, if the daughter is Y years old now, what was the age 7 years ago?
Y minus 7.
Y minus 7. Y minus 7.
Now there is a connect given between these two ages. 7 years ago, the father was 7 times as old as the daughter. So this is the father's age. The father's age is equal to 7 times the age of the daughter. So did I get my first equation? Is that clear? Father is
Yes,
X
ma'am.
minus 7. Daughter is Y minus 7. Because 7 years ago, these were their ages. The connect is father is 7 times the age of the daughter. Now simplify this. This becomes X minus 7 equals, you multiply like this, you get 7Y minus 49. So after the transposition, when you transpose it to the left hand side, you get X minus 7Y minus 7 and a positive 49. Transpose the positive 7y as negative 7y, the negative 49 as positive 49. Or in other words, it will become X minus 7y plus 42 equals 0. Right? So this is the first equation that I have got. X minus 7y plus 42 equals 0. Now coming to the next condition. This was 7 years ago. Now 3 years from now. What is 3 years from now? That is the future. So if the father is X years old now, what will his age be 3 years from now?
X plus 3.
X
X plus 3.
And what will be the daughter's age? It will be
Y plus 3.
Y plus
Y
3.
plus 3.
correct. So it will be X plus 3 and Y plus 3. Now what is the connect given? Also 3 years from now, I shall be 3 times as old as you. I shall be means father. So father is 3 times as old as the daughter. Is that clear? So that is my second equation. Right? Now again I can transpose and get the X and Y on the same side, that is the left hand side. This will be 3y plus 9. Or when I transpose, it becomes X minus 3y plus 3 minus 9 equals 0. Or X minus 3y minus 6 equals 0. So these are the two equations for the given situation described in problem 1. So you can take this down now. So this is the algebraic way of representing the situation. Next we will take up the geometrical representation or the graphical representation of this. That I shall take it a little later. So you write this down, the two equations are ready. Then you have to show it graphically, which I will postpone for a little while. Because I want to bring all the equations in all the 3 problems. Then we will shift to the graphical solution. So take down quickly. I don't know why people get added like this. Every 2 minutes there is one addend. Okay, then if you finish getting the 2 equations, you can go through the second one and try to frame the algebraically the equations. Write the assumptions clearly, then write the situation given and accordingly frame the equation. That's why I was telling the basic of all the algebra of 10th standard is to be studied in the ninth standard. If we were as little serious in the ninth standard, now we will be sailing through very, very smoothly. Okay, so we will go on to the second problem. Quickly. The coach of a cricket team buys 3 bats and 6 balls for rupees 3,900. So for 3,900, there is 3 bats and 6 balls which were purchased. Later, she buys another bat and 2 more balls of the same kind for rupees 1,300. Represent this situation algebraically and graphically or geometrically, however you call it. So I have start with, there are 2 variables. Which are the variables here? You have 2 varieties of items which are purchased. What are those?
Bats and balls.
Bat and balls.
The number of bats,
BX.
BX, and the number of balls,
Balls.
BY. So these are my 2 variables that I have started with. Now the first condition says the coach has to buy 3 bats and 6 balls. So if the number of bats, no, we are not 3 balls, sorry. We are not going to assume the number of bats, we are going to tell the cost of each bat because she's buying 3 bats and 2 balls, 6 balls. So we can't tell the number of bats as it. We will tell like the cost of a bat. Be rupees X, and the cost of a ball be rupees Y. Alright. So now how many balls is the coach purchasing? She is purchasing 3 bats. So for 1 bat you pay 3x rupees. So for 3 bats it will be 3x. You understand? That's why I have assumed that 1 bat the cost is rupees X. So 3 bats will be 3x. Similarly, she is purchasing 6 balls. So 1 ball if it is Y rupees, for 6 balls it will be 6 Y. Now 3 bats and 6 balls together she has to pay rupees 3,900. So this is how my equation will be formed. Because I am just adding the cost of both the items. The number of items is given to me. I have assumed the cost of each item as X and Y. So 3 bats, 6 balls. Together the cost is 3,900. Now, can I leave this equation as it is? There is something which should be bothering me here. There is a common factor between all the 3 terms. Can you see all the 3 are factors of 3. So I divide the equation completely with 3 so that it simplifies further. So when I am dividing this, I will get 3x divided by 3 will become x. 6y divided by 3 will give you 2y. And this will become 1,300. So this is my first equation. It is not wrong if you take the first one as the equation. But always, if there is a common factor between the terms, try to simplify and give the equation. Now the next one is, she is going to buy 1 bat and 2 balls. So the next situation is purchase of 1 bat, so 1x, and 2 balls. So there, the cost is coming out to be 1,300. So this is my You get the equations? In the first case, 3 bats and 6 balls were together purchased for 3,900. So my equation was this. I have simplified it like this. The next equation, the purchase is 1 bat and 2 balls, and the cost is 1,300.
Ma'am,
So
3 balls.
the equations.
Ma'am, it is 3
I
balls.
can do it graphically. I am still postponing. So we will.
Ma'am, it's 3 balls.
Solutions and take the graphical solution. Is somebody wanting to speak? Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, it is 3 balls.
Balls, ma'am.
3 balls?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
She buys 1 bat and 2 more balls.
Ma'am, 3 balls. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if it is
Yes,
3,
ma'am, it is there.
my textbook is saying 2 balls. I don't know why there is a change. Okay, if it is 3 in your textbook, we will take it as 3. All your textbook is saying 3?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, never mind. Fine. All right. So this was the algebraic solution for your second situation given. Now we will go to the third one quickly. We are running on 27 minutes. Maybe if there is a requirement, we will rejoin. We'll see how much we are able to do. Okay, the third condition. This is quite easy now for you. The cost of 2 kgs of apples and 1 kg of grapes on a day was found to be rupees 160. After a month, the cost of 4 kgs of apples and 2 kgs of grapes is rupees 300. Represent the situation algebraically and geometrically. So we are able to now write. We are having the amount of apples and grapes that is purchased, and it is related to the cost. So what is the assumption that I have to take? There are 2 varieties, apples and grapes, and the amount or the volume of the purchase is given in kgs. Now what is it that we have to assume? Let the cost of
The cost of apples be X.
1 kg. You take 1 kg of apple be rupees X, and the cost of 1 kg of grapes be rupees Y. So this is how you take the assumptions. Now what is the situation given in the first condition there? It is 2 kgs of apple and 1 kg of grape. So 1 kg of apple is X rupees, means 2 kgs will be 2X. Then you have 1 kg of grapes. Together they are going to cost rupees 160. So because the cost of 1 kg of apple is X, 2 kgs of apple will be 2X. 1 kg of grapes is Y, so 1 into Y. Together they are going to cost 160 rupees. But later on, after a month, 4 kgs of apple and 2 kgs of grapes is going to cost totally 300 rupees. So these are the 2 equations that I have. Here also there is a simplification possible. Can you see what is that? There is a common factor between all the 3 terms. What is that?
2.
2.
Yes. So first equation there is no common factor, so you will take it like this. This can be further simplified by dividing 2 out with 2. So this will become 2x plus 1y equals 150. So this will be the second equation. Alright. So you should see carefully if there is any common factor between the terms of the given expression or the given equation.
Ma'am,
Yeah, tell me. Yes.
2x plus y, 115, 160. 2x plus
ನಾನು
y.
video share ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. I think I have to stop the class here because we have exceeded almost 5-6 minutes now. So ಆ video share ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಈಗ ನಾನು record ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದನ್ನು I will try to share. Alright.
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್ 116 115
ಹಾ.
ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ
ಹಾ ಹೇಳಿ ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಈಗ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್ 2x plus y is equal to 115 ಮೇಡಮ್